Today is Saturday, March 25th, 2023, and welcome back to A Voice in the Night. A Voice in the Night acts as a surrogate friend to all truth researchers who have had their lives completely destroyed. You have no more family and friends to talk to, so A Voice in the Night provides a surrogate for you so you can stay sane. Could you imagine, guys? It's Matt, by the way. Hey guys, it's Matt. Could you imagine if I had some sort of fake bullshit persona for The Voice in the Night and I started to turn into some radio DJ personality? I mean, what a joke. I can only be myself. I watched Braveheart for the first time in like 12 years last night. I only had like 2 beers in me at the time, but there were scenes I had never cried at before. And I know now I bawled 5 or 6 scenes. I bawled. I mean, I was going, what is going on? I analyzed it. I know what's going on. The beauty of the movie making was so incredible, but it was just commonplace back then in the 80s and 90s and whatever. We took it for granted. It is so devoid today. It just doesn't exist. I think it could exist. They hold it back on purpose. They dumb it down on purpose. They make it bad on purpose. It's governed. In terms of the Not Nilk strategy as it plays out over a long period of time, it's just a time in history, an era where it cannot present, at least if it's coming through their channels, their Hollywood, their music, and the things that they control, it cannot present anything of the utmost beauty. Maybe it didn't have the power back in the day to stop every movie or every form of art that actually did express pure beauty. But it was the nostalgia of it. Going back and seeing what can be done and knowing that is just not possible today, unless it's some little tiny indie movie, which is just not going to be the same. When everything comes together perfectly, like with a Dances with Wolves or Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai, it's the same movie as Dances with Wolves, just set in a different time, in a different place. The message is just as pure in my example. Braveheart. I know there's righteous truthers. Oh, I don't ever watch a movie. And there was a comment a few weeks ago. I said, I was watching the Daytona 500, and someone was like, oh, you lost me at the Daytona 500. I was like, righteous truther award, righteous truther award. That's great. If you threw out your TV, you won't watch any movie. Don't keep trying to pat yourself on the back and impress that on us in the comments. You just keep that to yourself. I study dark reality 7 days a week. I need this sort of escape. And the crying or whatever, it was because it was a nostalgia. So perfect, so beautiful, some of the scenes. Knowing this could exist today, even better. Knowing this asshole, this thing here that hangs over, the ass crack that hangs over reality, because of its phase, its implementation, it cannot allow these beautiful works of art to come through anything that it controls. And what does it control at this point? Oh, like 98% of the world's distribution on art. And there's indie shit that pops up, and there is some indie music that's very, very good if you can find it. But it's just, oh boy. I mean, I had never cried over these scenes, and it was a nostalgia. It's okay that we have a nostalgia. I know our big thing now is don't look back, and there will be a time, to not look back. We continue to cut ties with it, etc. But, Greg and I do a lot of reminiscing, and it is natural and normal when things like this have been snatched out of reality. Things that were appreciated at the time, but are appreciated now 1,000 times over, because the whole society's been devoid of these types of, say, what I experienced last night at certain moments in Braveheart. I liked the movie. I remember buying when it was finally available, VHS tape. I remember it took a year or two. It wasn't available right away, and it was 2 VCR tapes. And I remember the part where you had to, just when you get relaxed and you're on your like 3rd beer or whatever, and then there's that part where the end of tape 1, insert tape 2, and like, oh, come on. And I used to be up late back in the day. I can't stay up late now, but it'd be like, I remember it was with Longshanks saying, sending my gentle son will just inspire an enemy to invade all of Lower England. Who shall I send? Who shall I send? And then that's it. It was the end of tape 1. You had to get up off your ass, and you didn't want to at 12:30. So I appreciated it back then. I must have played it, I don't know, 15 times after I got the VCR tapes. But after so many years to go back now, when we've been devoid of anything like this, it was a pretty amazing experience. It really was. Go ahead, righteous truthers. Get it out. Go ahead. You watch movies? Yeah. Get it out. Guess I made how many movies have I made? How many videos have I made going back to the old Texas Shrug channel? It was like 14 years. So is it like 2,000 videos? Not every video. I'm not going to talk about Braveheart for the next 4 hours. In just a few more minutes. Not every subject in video is going to be for you. You don't have to, let me go right to the keyboard. I don't watch movies. I don't watch any TV anymore. I have to do this. What release do I have after studying dark reality 7 days a week? Just go sit in front of the feral cat? What are my options? Am I to call NetJets? Or what are these airline leasing companies? Have a Dassault Falcon fueled up waiting for me in the Philadelphia airport? I'll fly to, I do have these options. I'll fly to Paris and meet the granddaughter of Raquel Welch and we'll go around the cafes. Is that open to me? No. It's that. I could do that as a fantasy, just sit in my bathroom and think about that. I could go sit with a feral cat, or I could watch a movie. Okay, I choose the latter. To this day, I think Mel Gibson, he still gets a bad rap from the Irish and the Scottish about his pretty bad Irish and Scottish accent. He's Australian, I guess. Mad Max is Australian. They still get on him. You know, I came to be free. What is such? It is bad. I mean, he should really be able to do it. McAndrews. That's what Mel Gibson wasn't even in that part. He's like, my hope is to be free. I'm telling you, for years I know the Irish and the Scottish. They really, really were upset at the accent. Now I know Irish, Scottish accents, even though I'm from Philly. I know they're not the same. Don't throw the rubber duckies. I got it. I know they're not the same. But the thickest of each is still better than what was that? Remember a few videos back, the David Bowie woman who that guy was waiting outside for 4 hours and all David Bowie did was like run 3 seconds through the door and he waited out there like a jackass for 4 hours. It was called Geordie or something. Geordie. It's like 50 comments in that video, 2 or 3 back. It's Geordie, Matt. Okay, whatever. I'd rather have the thickest of Irish or Scottish accents than that Geordie horse shit. It can't be understood. It's people sound retarded. Once again, it's Saturday, March 25th, 2023. And as a reminder, you're listening to A Voice in the Night, the sophisticated and intelligent program for modern-day truthers. Matt, are we going to do anything important here? I got things to do, man. I want to talk about Braveheart all night, you crying in front of the television. Let's get to something. Okay, I hear you. Let's do, 5-10 minutes on the most important topic of all time. What? Of all time. Okay. This term that's thrown around the internet and thrown around religion for thousands of years and thrown around YouTube, we're all tired of spirituality, spiritual. But what does that mean? Thrown around over in the New Age, it's thrown around in religions. Very few people, in my opinion, have a good understanding of what that means. Now, they might not agree with what my simple definition is of it, but if you ask them to explain that, they'd be like, oh, man, I don't know. I've heard 40,000 videos on it and used it a million times. People haven't really considered for themselves, in my opinion, what it means. Of course, per this whole not milk reality, it's all fogged over and messed up on purpose. To me, it's very simple. Being spiritual simply is an understanding that you're more than this. That's it. A full knowledge and understanding that you are more than this experience, that you're more than the body and the ego mind. It means you were alive in some way before birth, and then you'll continue to be, per the real loose definition, alive after birth in some totally different form. If you're a spiritual person, or spirituality just means there's more than this. Now, I'll look to your comments if there is another definition, but that simplicity of it, I think, is lost. And the not milk cannot allow simplicity, especially when it's something that's so important. It will work overtime to make it complicated and foggy and nebulous and hazy. Oh, especially when it's something this important. The other aspect that I'll bring in is there's a part of me that's not in this snow globe, that's not here. So that's the last part. Still a very simple 2-component part. There's part of me or something, I believe in the higher self concept, you might not. Either way, whether you agree with me or not, you really need to have this simple concept defined for yourself. Everybody needs to make sure they fully could say what spirituality or spiritual means to them if asked. I think a lot of people listening to me could. Very few people out in the general world could. They just sit there and stare at you, and some drool would come off their front lip, and then they take another giant bite of a glazed donut. They would have no clue what you're talking about. I just wrote up the section of the book, or, well, I had written it, I was working on it again, about how there's 2, 3, or 4 levels of meaning depending on the frequency or the vibration of the person that's analyzing the art or the movie or the song or whatever it may be. And it's not just like Vanessa VA's retrocausality language in songs. It's a similar theme that extends to, if you analyze the conspiracy of the Titanic, there's 3 or 4 different levels of presentation it makes, almost like it adjusts its graduated Animal Farm depending and based on the sophistication or how far someone has gone in their worry about their self-truth research. And no real world could do this. No real world could keep embedding different themes and different layers of conspiracy and different layers of meaning. So I didn't put this in the book, but related to what we're talking about now, remember the old spirit cooking. I mean, give me a break. And that was one of those right about the same time of, that was at Abramovich, or we were so played and used and lured in to chase that. It came out the same amount of about the same time as the Podesta stuff and the Domino's and Pizza Hut. You know, you got to go through the gate. You got to go. My Pizza Hut, there's a gate. You gotta go through the gate to get. Remember that horse shit, guys. Absolute. Well, just because I'm going to tell you it's bullshit, people will. The first grade truthers are like, Matt's protecting those people. No, it actually, the way we were played and used actually allows more of the activity to go on. Okay, the first grade truthers. There's very few here, so I doubt I'll get those comments. But the spirit cooking, to me, look at the multiple levels. If you investigate, here's how I interpret it. If you investigate that horse shit that they dangled out in front of us and begged us to investigate, David Seaman kept coming on video after video. I haven't watched this. I have no idea who this person is, but there was like hundreds of videos about going through the gate to get your Pizza Hut, and this guy kept coming on, and then, oh, look at the pedestrian. Obama's ordering hot dogs. That means this. And what a bunch of bullshit. If you investigate it, you're cooking your own spirit. That's what spirit cooking is to me. I think there are possibly levels, even in things they present, that they aren't even aware of potentially. I think it's that embedded. It's a rule of how this reality works. The ultimate, whether they intended it that way or not, whether they had to give that away or not, the ultimate interpretation is if you investigate spirit cooking and you spend time on that bullshit breadcrumb, that yellow steaming breadcrumb that it laid down that it wanted you to chase and pursue, you're cooking your own spirit. The no consequences people would be like, you can't do that, Matt. You're protected. Maybe we'll do a little consequences, no consequences debate where I'm always taking their podium and I'm trying to represent them as fairly as I can. Scott is the new president of the No Consequences Guild. Somebody named Scott. I won't give any other information. It's like that scene in Man on Fire, where there's 2 people. The first guy is like, before he cut his ear off, he's like, do you know who I am? Do you know? La Hermandad? Correcto. Now, do you want to tell me any more, or should I push the damn car off the cliff? The other guy, the real president, he's like, do you know who I am? And he's like, have you ever heard Bandejo? Bandejo. Have you ever heard of La Hermandad? Yeah, sure. Denzel's like, I've heard of La Hermandad. I'm the president. You're the president of La Hermandad. That's you know what you got up your ass right now. President of La Hermandad is about to blow up. So, not sorry to mix that in with Scott. Scott is getting granted the president of the No Consequences people. So they would say you can't cook your own. A real person can't cook their own spirit here. I'm a little wary. I'm trying to protect myself just in case. Look at the concept, and you see Harry Potter, the concept of Horcrux. What is that putting out? Okay, yeah, it's being done by Voldemort, but is anything being said there that's just a tad or bit worrisome? Voldemort, if you haven't seen the Harry Potters, the last 3, Not just, what is it? Oh, to say Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. No, the Chamber of Secrets 1 and 2, and the one before talked about the concept of Horcrux. So Voldemort, he placed aspects of his soul in the movie in various items, in Ravenclaw's lost items, and in a freaking snake. Who would put a piece of their soul in a damn snake? He decided to do that in a jewel, in a Penthouse magazine. He put it all over the place. And I guess that's to protect him, because if you just smash that jewel or whatever, then he's got his soul in other places. But what's the analogy? And I've thought about this many times. Can somebody, if they're going down the wrong path and becoming Voldemort, or, the old concept of soul tokens that really drives the no consequences people crazy. Like, you can't give away parts of your soul. You can't give away soul tokens. Well, Harry Potter's saying, people like are hiding, can potentially, maybe not us, maybe the George Bush, George of the Jungle minion class, that minion class. I don't know, but the parts of the soul get put and it's separated, and then you start listening more closely to people in the truthers that say one of the jobs that we have to do here is put ourselves back together. And I don't know that concept of Harry Potter, and we have to be careful what we think about too. If you believe you part of your soul, you put it in a damn jewel or a jukebox, you might be bringing that on yourself. You ultimately get what you expect to get or what you believe. So that's why this reality plays the nature of the trick. So you are tricked into believing something false, that you potentially have lost a part of your soul to the underbelly of Tony Hawk's skateboard, right? There's your soul in a vial, and next to it, where it's the part where he keeps his own blood. No, actually, that Tony Hawk's skateboard had his own blood in the red paint. Sorry. So whatever, but that's, I don't know that I pay attention to these types of presentations. And I'm still to this day trying to determine what, there is something to that concept of Horcrux. Maybe it is just for the Bezoses of the world. They've Horcruxed themselves off here. They have to blend their two into one to get the hell out of here. They're in a much worse situation. That implies we're in a bad situation. We're not. Okay, we left to live in this reality in 2023. That's pretty bad. So maybe worse was not the wrong word to use, but but it's such a great thing to talk about. How superior, if you're listening to this, you are than 1 billion. You are so superior to that type of entity, spiritually and every way else. And we're not just saying that to make ourselves feel better. It really does come through when you ask your inner knowing. When you just look at Melvin, look at a picture of Melvin, him running around doing whatever. There's old pictures 25, 30 years ago of Melvin jumping over a chair in his office, acting like a total fool for a 60 Minutes office, right when Melvin made his first million or something. He's like, hey, what's that? Leslie Stahl, when she was actually looked not like a golem, said to him there's a rumor you can jump over a chair, and he jumps over the chair or something in the interview like a clown. Just look at that type of entity. You are superior. We're not just making ourselves feel better. Remember what Tony said. The one Tony, not the other Tony. People are like, that's the same Tony. It's not, trust me. That's one of the clues that this reality gives away in terms of all its synchronicities and coincidences. It comes to real people all the time. It just so happens that the person that's helped me in my journey fill in the gaps about how reality works is named Tony. And my best friend, who is completely bows down to the CNN Anderson Cooper 360, his name's Tony. What are the chances? This stuff, yesterday, I got in the car. And the song, I for some reason pulled out the old iPod and plugged it in. What songs are on this? I can't stand iTunes. It never makes sense to me. But okay, what's on this? Because I hear the same songs over and over. First song, was it Arcade Fire? I think it's called Wake Up. I'm like, that's interesting. Wake Up. Especially considered what we do here. Try to get people to wake up. Okay, fine. That on its own, that's not that great. The next song after it, I'm like, oh boy, I haven't heard this song forever. This old Sounds of Philly R&B. I look over, and it's reading on the iPod, "Wake Up," or it reads on my little head unit in the Scion. I said, wake up! I just listened to "Wake Up." This ain't "Wake Up." There's something wrong with the damn stereo. It was Harold, and then it scrolls Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I have to sing it for 5 seconds. You guys you'll know it, but Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping. And, this goes back to late 70s. And I'm like, wake up. The next one's wake up. And then it's Melvin? Harold Melvin? And Melvin P. and the Blue Notes? I'm like, oh my. And then I'm listening to it. I haven't heard this song forever. And there's a part where he goes, na 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 na. I'm like, that's where Pootie Tang got that from. When Pootie Tang goes, na 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 na, he got that from Harold. And this is not groundbreaking, revolutionary synchronicity, but when it happens all the damn time, you know what I mean. All right, let's talk about this very important issue. There are many people in our community that believed we're trapped here somehow. The Saturn Moon Matrix. I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh. It does. It's Matt, you're delusional. You're not. We could be trapped. Oh, okay. Let me try to make a presentation. Let's say I was at the podium against Billy Madison. I had to make a presentation that we're not trapped. The world does appear extremely sinister, of course. Trapped meaning, okay, for anybody new, there's some mechanism set up here. We die, the soul goes back into a body, one body after another. You can't get out. I don't buy it. One of the reasons I don't buy it, and I'm not going to talk much about this because you've heard me say it so many times, is how hard they work to implement the trick, how hard they work to get us to notice or to get our energy from us. Well, Matt, they might need the energy to sustain themselves to live. That doesn't mean we're not trapped. Okay, well, I have other examples and other reasons why we're not trapped. How hard they work getting up in our business, that gives it away that we're not trapped, or they wouldn't be working so hard to implement the trick. The entire reality is a trick. The main thing is how we're actually winning. And there's a lot more than just this, but this is the main one. We're the people that say, no way anybody's going to choose to come into a reality system with a mind wipe. You don't know who you are. It's not fair. It's stacked against us. It's a setup. No, it's designed this way. If it was so unfair and stacked against us and we have no chance of winning or no chance of breaking out of a recycling trap, then how are we winning? We are winning. Are you a person going into age 40 or 50 or so? Most people in the age range here, 35 to 60, a little bit older, people that are mature, that even the young truther will still be chasing what happened to the side of the Pentagon. Are you a person that your 25-year-old self would recognize? Now, I've been writing about this in the book. You've heard me say it before, but it's one of the most important things. If you were of the Matrix when you were in your 20s, and you were chasing a job promotion, and you were trying to get whacked off, or whatever, I've said recently, as you know, my 25-year-old self would not recognize my 50-year-old self. That is proof that we are winning. If it was so stacked against us, there wouldn't be a group of people winning. I agree, we are in the minority here, but that's not all of it. It's the synchronicities. It's the messages, the embedded, layered messages that we take away from things, the synchronicities, all this stuff all the time. If you can tune to the right radio station and the frequency, which is as far away as possible from the Notnilk's demonic station all the way down that side of the dial, we're dialed all the way up on the other side. You see there's a whole reality that's actually working in a way the creeps can't interfere with, that tells you all about yourself. I mean, if we were so doomed into some mechanism we would just recycle back, all of these things wouldn't exist. Is it just me, or is it just common sense? Another item or factor that just gives the situation away that we are winning and we're not trapped is how ridiculous it gets to us as each week and each month goes by. We've talked about this before, just 1 minute or less on the ship, the most important principles that come out of the Ship of Fools. You have a best friend, I have friends. They're right smack in the middle on the Ship of Fools. They're ordering from Isaac every hour. As it gets stranger and stranger, it's only strange to us because we are spiritually separating from it. It's getting further and further away. If you want to picture a boat, it would be farther. Farther, a measure of distance, further, a separation, but not necessarily distance. So spiritually, it's further. If you want to think of the boat and actually Vicky and Captain Steubing and Isaac, it's farther. Either way, it's becoming like a joke to us because of how far away we're getting from it. That proves how much we're separating from it. It's not a ridiculous joke to Tony and your best friends and your family. It is completely normal to them. This is very similar in a way to a Mandela effect, but I don't want to trigger people and then just, have people latch back onto Fruit Loops or Kit Kat dashes. We can leave that triggered part to some. It operates the same sense, in my opinion, but there's no reason to talk about that now, and I shouldn't have brought it up, but I'm not going to re-record. Very simple. If you're on the ship, it doesn't matter how crazy it gets. It's normal to them. We're crazy per the standards and metrics of what's sane here, because we're the one that jumped off the reality itself. As it gets stranger to us, that's a good thing. The weirder it gets, that's a wonderful thing, because it shows you're moving farther and farther up the dial away from it. You're moving further and further away from it spiritually, or separating, not looking back. That is proof right there that it doesn't have you. It doesn't have anybody trapped. We wouldn't be winning if it has everybody completely trapped. It wouldn't be working so hard if it has everybody completely trapped. This is obvious at this point. We're not just saying this shit to make ourselves feel good so we can get through the day. Once again, it's Saturday, March 25th, 2023, and you're listening to A Voice in the Night, the intelligent and sophisticated program for today's modern truther. Now, it's a very special day for A Voice in the Night because we're offering our first product for sale. We've had other sponsors like Marco Rubio Bubble Parties of Central and South Florida, but this is our first product for sale. It's called the Truther Buddy. We've rounded up every single Cabbage Patch Kid that anyone's ever thrown out. We have thousands ready to go in our warehouse. Inside the belly of each Cabbage Patch Kid, we've inserted a Bluetooth speaker so you can clutch My Truther Buddy as you listen to Matt and A Voice in the Night each time it airs. You have no friends and family left to talk to, so clutching My Truther Buddy brings calm and solace to people that have nothing in the world like Matt. My Truther Buddy, My Truther Buddy, My Truther Buddy, My Truther Buddy, get yours now. Retails at $66.66 with $9.11 shipping and handling. Ships out in 33 days or less. I'll leave you with this very important headline from CNN.com. Earth Hour. Today is Earth Hour. Why people across the world are turning their lights off. CNN. Each year, millions of people from over 190 countries and territories coordinate to turn off their lights for just 1 hour. This event is part of an annual tradition to raise awareness about climate To raise awareness about climate change. I'm reading a CNN article. Here's what you need to know ahead of the 16th annual Earth Hour coming up later today. It was launched in 2007 by the World Wildlife Fund launched it in 2007. You mean the group that has the historical roots to big game hunting? I'm not joking. And its partners in Australia. According to the release from the organization, the World Wildlife Fund, the nonprofit describes Earth Hour as the largest global grassroots movement for the environment. Earth Hour aims to increase awareness and spark global conversations on protecting nature, tackling the climate crisis, and working together to shape a brighter future for us all, the WWF says on the Earth Hour website. The Earth Hour campaign has led What time is Earth Hour? To participate, all you need to do is turn the lights off in your home and all the electricity from 8:30 to 9:30 in your local time zone on Saturday. 8:30, put your hands out, identical. 8:30 to 9:30 in your local time zone, okay? All of New York should go dark. All of Philadelphia should go dark. You know how dangerous the neighborhoods in West Philly and North Philly are going to get because of Earth Hour? I assure you, the one guy that's walking through parts of West Oak Lane or whatever, and he doesn't know it's Earth Hour and all the lights go off, he's screwed. That guy is screwed, dude. You better spread the word in these neighborhoods that Earth Hour's coming tonight. When those lights go down, you better run for your damn life. So how many times is this going to happen tonight? People's parents living with their adult children, Uncle Fred in the basement. They got him set up in an apartment in the garage where it's tied into the household electricity. He's got his NASCAR Xfinity race on, or he's ready to watch something. He's got his beers lined up and his chips. He's all ready to go right at 8:30, and all of a sudden, vomp, the green-loving mother or father of the household throws the damn electric off, and Uncle Fred's like, "What the hell is that? What happened to the electric? Oh, Fred, did anybody tell you it's Earth Hour? We're observing an hour of no electricity. What the hell? How? An hour? I gotta sit here in an hour? My fries are getting cold. Put the damn electricity on in this part of the house." Well, that wouldn't be observing Earth Hour in the right way, Uncle Fred. If you're going to be a part of this household, you'll observe Earth Hour too. Now shut up and sit in the dark. Thanks for listening.